which met yesterday. Thanks so much for being on the show. I know you've had a busy couple of days here at the Capitol, but one of the big things on the docket that you guys were discussing yesterday was something that you're planning to propose this next session, dealing with teaching teens about how to interact with police officers. What exactly are you wanting this legislation to look like?
Well, it's become abundantly clear to me, watching news stories and being with my constituents, that a lot of people, quite frankly, don't know how to respond when they're pulled over by a police officer. Not just traffic contact, but maybe, for instance, a student in the classroom, resource officers, school police, in the community. How do you respond to contact with law enforcement that, quite frankly, doesn't escalate into a tragedy? So, working with parents and community leaders, we arrived at the idea that why don't we teach in class, school, actually discuss the relationship between the community and law enforcement. So it just occurred to me, if you've got a captive audience of 9th graders, before they ever get behind the wheel of a car, you tell them that there is a real probability that we all get pulled over at one time or another. And these are the do's and don'ts. If you have a complaint, because you do have rights and due process, you need to take it up with the authorities the next day. Go to the internal affairs. But just think about how many 16-year-old or even their parents would know how to interact with internal affairs. You get an urban setting like Houston, they don't know where the police station is. So I want some classroom hours spent on how to have a proper contact with law enforcement. If you have an officer that you believe is rude, don't confront your officer on the street. Do it with your parents, or call your senator, or go to the department the next day. It's been really well received, not only by people in the general public, but my colleagues think it's a good idea. You know, I want the kids to learn what their rights are. Yeah. A lot of people thought, well, are you just telling them to, you know, obey and then complain? That's too simplistic. I want the students, it would be an excellent, in my judgment, element of civics class.
I know that there's been some talk, or maybe some concern even from some groups looking at this, just about how the curriculum would be developed. Would there be a difference in urban versus rural? Sure. And trying to look at just how to adapt to the different areas of the state.
I personally would like to leave a lot of input from the community. There's 1,050 school districts, so allow the school district to, with some accountability. I don't want this just be a show and tell. I want it to be meaningful. But in a rural area, where everyone knows everyone, small town, you might have a sheriff come by, talk to the local constable. You get in a large urban setting like Houston, Austin, with diversity being a consideration, you'll probably have outside lecturers, law enforcement should come in, ministers should come in, counselors come in. It could really be a productive classroom hour, having interchange of ideas and to see what students are thinking. Let them answer their questions. So I would like to have it designed with local input, but I do want the state to require it and not just kill some hours, but have a meaningful substantive class.
A couple of other things to come out of that hearing yesterday. One of them was that DPS, Department of Public Safety, and APD agreed to start including information about how drivers can file complaints, basically on the backs of tickets. How will this work? What is this going to do?
Heck of an idea that Senator West brought up, that if people want to complain, how do they know how? Kind of like the same thing I want students to learn. Who do they call? And I think Senator West, in the middle of the meeting yesterday, mentioned, why don't you give them a contact number on the back of the citation? And to the DPS, Director McConnell's credit, he said, we'll start it. And then the chief, said, we'll start it. So, I think the follow-up will be how successful the response time is after you place a call. Hopefully you won't get a voicemail. You get a live person to complain. And what we're looking for is communication between the community and law enforcement, an understanding of what everyone's role is. And, most officers have very successful encounters But if one is not successful, we need to let the public have access to superiors. So it was a heck of an idea, and it didn't require a change in law. It was just departments saw it was a practical idea, and to their credit, they said we will process this.
Maybe more will join on. In the time that we have left, which is just about a minute, I did want to ask you while I have here about more than 30 foster kids being housed in a repurposed former juvenile detention center in Northeast Texas. You're not happy about this. Why?
I believe that CPS clients should be kept in their community. They are very disturbed most times. They need counseling, they need psychological services, they need education, health care.
These kids in particular.
Yeah, these kids in particular. And Crockett has a detention facility that's been remodeled. I understand it's really nice structure, but I've learned as recently as today that the counselors and the professional help that they so badly need are driving from Houston, Texas to Crockett. That's a 3-hour drive. I don't think they're seeing the counselors as frequent as they need to. But unfortunately, CPS system is so dysfunctional. Most of these kids are from Fort Worth, by the way, that essentially they're just placed in residential facilities in rural Texas because they have nowhere else to put them. We've got to reform CPS. We've got to find foster parents, caseworkers, first pay them enough that we can attract people that want to do this long term. The turnover is unbelievable in the caseworkers. So, you know, I hope the legislature leadership will make this a priority that it deserves, because these young people in CPS will someday graduate out of CPS and be in our communities. And if you look at their profile, some of them have been moved 15, 20 times, very disturbed, emotionally disturbed young people that need all of our help.
Something we're going to be keeping a close eye on. Senator Whitmire, thanks so much. We'll get you back on the show to talk more about all of these issues.
Yeah.
The court report's Harvey Cromberg.